The U.S. Department of Labor blog was released this morning, and it says this, and I quote, The new data shows that the economy added a record 6.6 million jobs since President Biden took office and an average of 541,000 new jobs per month over the last 3 months. And it says, with the labor force participation up over the year and long-term unemployment continuing to decline, America is getting back to work.
Happy days are here again. The skies above are clear again.
Unemployment is at 3.8%, and this is approximately where we were at before the pandemic ravaged the world and the workforce. So yes, the prospects for finding a good job are better today. But what does tomorrow's job picture look like? Well, that's why I'm here today, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you about 15 of the fastest growing jobs that are hot right now and for the foreseeable future. And that, my friends, that is all up next right here on Over 50 TV. Welcome back to Over 50 TV. My name is Lou Reyes. Well, before the break, I said what I'm going to do today is I'm going to tell you about 15 of the fastest growing jobs right now, jobs that are hot. But I do want to point something out. As I mentioned, these jobs are hot for the foreseeable future. So if you want to get a head start on a great new career, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to pay close attention to this list, because you never know, you may find a new career on this list, a career that could change your life. Before I jump into this list, what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to ask you to consider subscribing to Over 50 TV. And I also want to mention one thing. If your next big career move is starting a business, you're going to want to subscribe to my new YouTube channel. It's called Side Hustle Rules. And on that channel, what I do is I use the experience that I've gained after starting almost a dozen businesses. I'll use that experience to guide you through the process. So how did I compile this list? Well, I compiled it from a number of sources in the U.S. And for the first time, what I did is I looked outside this country and I examined a list that was published by the University of Wollongong in Australia. And their list used predictions from their Department of Employment. I wasn't surprised at all that I found the fastest growing jobs outside the U.S. Well, they pretty much mirrored predictions here. Why did I do that? I just wanted to get a truer picture, a worldwide picture of the job market. Now, I do want to mention one more thing. Salary range. When I mention salary range, please understand that it does depend on the geographic area, and I know you probably know that, but I thought I'd go ahead and mention it. Well, enough of this. Let's get to the 15 fastest growing jobs today and in the near future. So let me run through this list. So let's start with sales representative or sales rep. A sales rep is someone who showcases and sells a product or products to businesses. They also sell them to organizations, and they can sell products to government agencies. And they do this rather than selling directly to consumers. Now, according to Indeed, the average salary of a sales rep is $65,564 per year in the U.S. They also can get cash bonuses and commissions. Now, the typical education that's required for a sales rep is high school. Human resource manager, and a lot of you out there, you react negatively when you hear about a human resource manager, but in this case, think about this, an HR manager, they're responsible for managing every aspect of the employment process. Now, that includes orientation. It includes training new staff members, and they also assist with payroll management. Now, Salary.com says this. They say the base salary for a human resources manager, well, they range from $96,000 to $121,000, with the average base salary $108,000. A typical education that's required for an HR manager is a bachelor's degree. Accountant. Well, an accountant, what they do is they help businesses make critical financial decisions. They're responsible for financial audits. They do reconciling of bank statements. And what they also do is they ensure financial records are accurate throughout the year. Median salary is $73,560. The best pay 25%, while they made $97,530. The lowest paid accountants, the 25%, they made about $57,000. Now, an accountant needs a bachelor's degree to qualify for an entry-level job. Although bookkeepers and accounting clerks, they can begin their career with an associate degree. But many accountants, what they do is they pursue a master's degree, and then what they do is they get their CPA license. Marketing manager. Marketing managers, what they do is they promote businesses, services, products, and they promote the company brand. They also develop marketing and pricing strategies, and they generate new business leads, or I should say they help generate new business leads. But they also oversee the marketing staff. Now, the base salary for a marketing manager, that range is $95,000 to $129,000, with the average base salary at $109,000. This is according to Salary.com. Now, the typical education is a bachelor's degree, but in my experience, I find most marketing managers, what they do is they achieve a master's degree. Early childhood teachers. Now, an early childhood education, also known as nursery education, is a branch of education that relates specifically to the teaching of children from birth, and that's from birth up to the age of 8. Traditionally, this is up to the equivalent, or I should say the equivalent of 3rd grade. Now, the average early childhood educator salary in the U.S. is $41,000 as of January 27. This is 2022, but the salary range typically falls between $37,000 and $46,000 according to Salary.com. Now, many preschools, what they do is they set minimum requirements at an associate degree, but most Montessori schools, they require a bachelor's degree. Secondary school teacher, in other words, a high school teacher, and I certainly don't miss high school. Well, what secondary school teachers do is they design and they implement educational programs or curriculum for one or more subjects, and subjects that are obviously appropriate for students who are in high school. Now, the average public school secondary teacher in the United States, what they make is they make $60,000, and this is as of January 27, 2022. But the typical range falls between $52,000 and $70,000, and this is according to Salary.com. Now, the typical education requirement is a bachelor's degree, and of course, they've got to have state certification. Now, licensing is also required in most cases, and sometimes a master's degree is preferred. Heavy and tractor-trailer truck driver, which just happens to be a job that my brother decided to take later in life. Now, as you can guess, a tractor-trailer job, what they do is they drive a truck, a big truck. And a heavy tractor-trailer truck driver, well, they can earn an average salary in the range of about $30,000 to $69,000. And of course, this does depend on tenure and industry expertise. And this is according to Recruiter.com. Now, a heavy tractor-trailer truck driver, the education, it's usually just, or I don't want to say just, but it's a high school education with some kind of truck driving school. And of course, they've got to have a CDL license. Construction manager, and boy, this sounds fun to me. Maybe it's a kid in me, I don't know. But a construction manager, what they do is they plan, they coordinate, they budget, they supervise construction projects from start to finish. They do spend most of their time in a field office, an office that's on site, so they can monitor the project and make decisions on the construction activities. Now, the median annual wage for a construction manager, $97,000. That was back in May of 2020. It's according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Now, a construction manager typically needs a bachelor's degree, although some other further education could and can benefit them. Web developer. A web developer's job? It's to create websites. Their primary role is to ensure that website is visually appealing. They want to make sure it's easy to navigate. And many web developers are also responsible for the website's performance and its capacity. Now, according to usnews.com, web developers made a median salary of $77,000 in 2020. The best 25% made $107,000 that year, while the lowest 25% made $55,000. Now, according to Zippia.com, the education required to be a website designer is normally a bachelor's degree. Computer programmer. A computer programmer, or sometimes they are referred to as a software developer. What they do is they write code to help software applications operate more efficiently. Their duties, they include designing and updating software solutions. They also write and update source code, and they manage various operating systems. Now, the average computer programmer's salary, now this is in the United States, is $67,000. That's of January of 2022. But the salary range falls between $58,000 to $76,000. Now, this is according to salary.com. I actually believe it's higher as we speak here today. Now, computer programmers typically need a bachelor's degree in computer and information technology or related fields such as mathematics. Now, we've gotten through the bulk of our list, but the next five fastest growing jobs, they are in the healthcare field. I know that's no surprise to many of you out there. Let's start with home health and personal care aides. Now, a home health aide is responsible for helping their clients with day-to-day tasks like bathing and dressing. Now, they may also be asked or responsible for light housekeeping duties such as doing laundry or dishes. Compensation varies greatly by city, as I mentioned earlier. For example, the average wage for a home health aide in Ohio is $11.82, and in California, LA, $22. But it does depend on their experience. Indeed.com says, although you don't need a high school diploma to work as a home health aide, you will need to have this basic level of education to increase your employment chances. Physical therapist assistant. I want to make sure I emphasize assistant. Now, they work under the direction and the supervision of physical therapist. A physical therapist assistant, what they do is they treat patients. They treat them through exercise, massage, gait and balance training, and also other therapeutic interventions. They record all of the progress and they report the results of each treatment back to that physical therapist. Now, a physical therapist assistant made a median salary of $59,000 in 2020. The best 25% made $70,000 that year. The lowest made $48,000. Now, you'll need a high school diploma. You'll need to attend an accredited physical therapy program usually through a technical school or a community college. And you do need to pass the National Physical Therapy Exam, which is known as the NPTE. Substance abuse and behavioral disorder counselor. It's certainly a mouthful. Doesn't mean it's not an important career, because it certainly is. A substance abuse counselor is a support system for people with drug and alcohol problems, or maybe the person's got an eating disorder or some other behavioral issues. Now, a behavioral counselor, what they do is they focus on coming up with explanations for a patient's addictions and abuses, and then they create solutions with help from the patient's families and other support systems. Those careers, they paid a median salary of $47,000 in 2020. The best 25% made $61,000 that year. The lowest paid 25% made $36,000. This is according to U.S. News. To enter this field, this important field, you'll need a bachelor's degree. Nurse practitioner, I certainly do know. I do know a few nurse practitioners, and they're really a type of advanced practice registered nurse. They undergo specialized education and clinical training that allows them to provide advanced care, and they perform tasks that registered nurses are not licensed to do. Many of them I found work closely with doctors. The median annual salary is $121,000 according to Glassdoor. A graduate degree from an accredited nursing school, such as a Master of Science in Nursing, is required. I personally think they are underpaid, even at $121,000. Last on our list is registered nurse. RNs, what they do is they assess and identify a patient's needs, and then they implement and monitor the patient's medical plan and treatment. Now, the most common entry to this career is through the Bachelor of Nursing. I believe that's how my daughter, my sister, and one of my best friends, I believe that's how they became nurses. Now, according to IncredibleHealth.com, registered nurses in Ohio earn an average of $69,000 or $33 per hour. But Ohio registered nurses earn 12% lower than the national salary for RNs, which is $80,000 or per hour. So as I mentioned in the beginning, a lot of this does depend, a lot of what I've given you does depend on geographic area, which certainly applies to the nursing field. Well, there you go, folks. I've just given you a rundown on 15 of the fastest growing, what I'll just say are hot jobs in 2022. And these jobs, as I did mention, they're going to be hot in 2023 and beyond. If you do have any questions, please feel free to make a comment in the comment box. You can also send me an email. I get plenty of emails. I try to answer them as fast as possible. If you do, or I should say, if you are inclined, go ahead, please subscribe to Over 50 TV. Now, if you also are thinking that your next big career move is going to be starting a business, well, you're going to want to subscribe to my new YouTube channel. It's called Side Hustle Rules. On that channel, I share my business experience and I try to help you to build a great side hustle. Well, as I mentioned, you got any questions, feel free to send me a message. If not, what I'm going to say is this. Have a great day, everybody.